Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On the News Hour tonight, Vice President decorates Acting Inspector General of Police as Nigerians hope for a better deal and improved security from the new service chiefs. 17-year-old killed in building collapse in Niger State. Suspended CBN governor sues DSS for continued detention. And on the foreign scene, Ugandan authorities collect DNA samples to identify school massacre victims. Many thanks for joining us on the News Hour. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We start in Abuja as the Acting Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Ebetokun, has been decorated with his new rank on Tuesday by Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima. The new police topman was appointed on Monday night by President Bola Tinubu, who left Abuja for Paris on Tuesday to attend a two-day summit, which will be hosted by French President Emmanuel Macron. Kehinde Amodu reports.
At a short ceremony at State House, newly appointed National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, Secretary to the Government of the Federation George Akume, and Chief of Staff to the President Femi Gbajabiamila witnessed the decoration of the Acting Inspector General of Police. Vice President Kashim Shettima presides over this event in the absence of President Tinubu, who is away on diplomatic shuttle. Olukayode Egbetokun is to act as the Inspector General of Police until he is confirmed by the Senate. He describes in colorful language his readiness to take on the task ahead.
Now, I have just been decorated, and I'm looking forward to taking over tomorrow morning by 11 a.m. I really can't describe how I feel presently, but if I have to tell you anything, I will tell you that right now, I feel like a tiger inside of me, ready to chase away all the criminals in Nigeria. And some other time, I feel like a lion in me, ready to devour all the enemies, internal enemies of Nigeria. That's my feeling right now. Thank you.
Former Inspector General of Police Usman Baba is confident that his successor will carry the mantle of leadership from where he has stopped.
Very significant, like you have mentioned. It's a stage. You come, you walk, and you go. I'm happy I'm handing over to somebody I know that will carry the mantle of leadership from where I have stopped. We grew up in the job. We grew up together. I was his boss at the time, not even when I was IG. He worked under me twice. We've been working together, and I know how he can go ahead to champion the cause of the police from where I have stopped.
Aside from the Inspector General of Police, President Tinubu swept in a new set of security chiefs on Monday night, demonstrating his willingness to take firm decisions to secure the nation. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Now, retired Wing Commander Musa Suleiman and Head of Transparency International in Nigeria, Awal Rasanjani, wanted the newly appointed service chiefs to guarantee the security and safety of Nigerians through collaboration and effective synergy. The duo, who expressed divergent opinions on the composition and character of the newly appointed service chiefs by the president, however, agree that the decision is apt and could inspire confidence in the nation's security. The report.
In one fell swoop, President Bola Tinubu relieved the former service chiefs, Controller General of Customs and National Security Advisor of their appointments.
For me, it's a good thing, kind of clearing everywhere so that you start with a team that knows exactly what you want from them and lay out expectations based on the promises that you have made.
The security chiefs must prioritize protection and promotion of safety of Nigerians. They must also ensure that they engage Nigerians to support the effort of the government in order to have a more safe country. I think it is important that our security agencies ensure that it's not just protecting the regime, but protecting the Nigerian people.
While retired Wing Commander Musa Suleiman says the appointees are eminently qualified considering their experience and understanding of the existing security threats in the country. Awal Rafsanjani picked holes in the composition of the new service chiefs.
Now there is this comradeship with COSMET, so we expect that the Army, you will see more collaboration between the Army, the Navy and the Air Force, because all of them entered the Nigerian Defense Academy together. They are classmates, if you call it that. They grew through the service together, so they understand each other better. And here they are heading services that are supposed to work together. So, and personal relationship matters so much.
This part of the continuous challenge that we have right from Obasanjo. The politician, they always want to do this lopsided, appointment. Some people, believe that this appointment is not balanced, given what had happened with the Buhari administration, which was accused of not balancing the service chiefs.
Though opinions are divided over the ability of the appointments to inspire public confidence in the security system, there is growing hope that the new chiefs will work as a team to rid the country of existential and emerging security challenges. Shapir Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, President Bola Tinubu has approved the return of the National Emergency Agency, NEMA, and the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, to the Office of the Vice President for Supervision in compliance with the various establishment acts. The President has also approved a formal structure for the Office of the Vice President, as well as an appropriate number of technical and administrative aides that will work with the Vice President in the discharge of his responsibilities. Now, a 17-year-old boy, simply identified as Salah, has been killed by a collapsed building along Shiroro Road in Minna, the Niger State capital. Eyewitnesses say the boy was a student of an Islamic school in the area. One of the residents, Jabir Ayuba, told newsmen that the building, which had been under construction for the past 1 year, lacked standard specifications. Niger State Urban Development Board had already marked the building for demolition before the collapse. Effort to reach the owner of the building was not successful, as he was said to be in Abuja.
So this is a building that they have just built less than a year, so that they intend to do pharmacy here. So what happens early morning, we have one of our brother, he's popularly known as Salah in all the street. He's an Almajiri boy of Gidanu Power Maurice, Fertilizer Road, before the police station. He came out this morning after playing everything. He even danced yesterday during one Maulud celebration. So he came out this morning after he ate his normal breakfast, which is waina. He asked that he wanted to call his mom. We even tried to reach his mom, but we couldn't reach her. Then he said he is coming, that he wants to come and see some of his friends inside the street, only for us to come and receive the news of his death. So when we come and investigate what happens, they were here still, 3 of them, then Salah, then Kabira and Yusuf. The 2 of them are his friends. So unfortunately, the stairs of the building broke and collapsed on his head. There are numerous fractures in his body. In fact, you cannot even raise him up like this. So we took him to the Malam place. After everything, the police, they were there to investigate his corpse and do proper investigation. As you can see, this is the building that collapsed on his head. And some of his friends, only one sustained injury for his hand, but they are safe. Unfortunately for them, they cannot lift the stairs because they are around 16 to 17 years old.
In Kano, owners of buildings marked for demolition in Salanta Housing Estate are asking the state government to provide evidence that they obtained land titles illegally from the former administration of Abdullahi Ganduje. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin, who has been following the development, reports that the residents are also alleging harassment and inhuman treatment by security operatives. His report.
Samini Shehu is a Kano-based businessman who recently moved into his multi-million naira penthouse. Marked for demolition, Saminu is now working hard to remove his belongings, even though he has all the necessary government-issued documents.
We are not the first allotee.
We bought it from the people who initially got the land, and we paid all the necessary dues. In fact, we went to Kanubda, we paid their money, we paid the state government on, everything has been paid, and we've done it in accordance with the law. So our land is legally obtained, and we have already built our houses here. Kano state government has recently revealed that nearly 70% of these estate is owned or illegally sold by the wife of the former governor and her children. A statement challenged by these people.
If
the state governor says 70% of the houses here are owned by Gogo and her children, why won't the governor investigate and then take over the 70% belonging to Gogo and leave the rest? But if he continued to destroy these houses, believing that 70% are owned by Gogo, then what happens to the remaining 30%? I think the governor needs to investigate. According to these people, despite obtaining all the necessary documents from the State Urban Planning and Development Authority, officials of the state government are violating their human rights in an attempt to force them out of their houses.
There is absolutely violation of Human Rights Act because some of the residents here with their family have been beaten, had been damaged by civil defense. They came with because police are not involved now in the operation because they have an order from their Inspector General of Police that they should not involve themselves unless there is court jurisdiction, which they are not obtaining any jurisdiction before they demolish any place in Kano State. So they used to come with talks, political talks and civil defense. So yesterday they came with civil defense and political talks, which you can see on social media trending. They have beaten one of the residents here. They beaten his pregnant wife yesterday. She's now she has been admitted in hospital yesterday.
While the demolition exercise continues across many parts of the state, these people are hopeful that the Kano state government will take them to court in order to figure out the truth about the legality of their properties. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Now, the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, is challenging his continuous detention by the Department of State Security Service. Emefiele approached the court to enforce his right to liberty and freedom of movement. His counsel, Joseph Dodu, filed originating motion on notice, praying for the court to order the DSS to release his client as there is no basis for his continuous detention. However, the Attorney General of the Federation as well as the DSS have insisted that the decision or detention of the suspended CBN governor is lawful. In a preliminary objection filed against the fundamental rights enforcement suit instituted by Emefiele, the Attorney General of the Federation and the DSS told the Federal Capital Territory High Court that the detention was backed by the order of a magistrate court and prayed for the court to dismiss the motion with cost. They noted that the arrest of the former CBN governor was an administrative decision of the DSS. The Attorney General of the Federation is also challenging the jurisdiction of the court to entertain the suit. As the originating motion he filed ought to have sought that the court set aside the order for his detention rather than seek enforcement of his rights. A federal high court in Abuja has fixed July 20th for a judgment in a suit filed by the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, against the Department of State Services, seeking an order to allow him unhindered access to his medical doctor. Justice Binta Nyako fixed the date after Kanu's counsel, Chief Mike Ozekome, SAN, and lawyer to the DSS, Ahem Alami, told and adopted their processes and presented their arguments for and against the suit. Kanu, through his legal team led by Mike Ozekome, has sued the DSS and its Director General as first and second respondents in the matter. Kanu in the suit prayed the court for permission to apply for an order of mandamus to compel the DSS to allow him have unhindered access to his medical doctor, among others. The court had on February 1st granted Kanu the permission to apply for the order he sought for an ex parte motion moved by Ozekome to the effect. But in a preliminary objection filed by the DSS, the security outfit urged the court to dismiss the suit for want of jurisdiction. It argued that there was a subsisting judgment of a sister court delivered by Justice Taiwo Taiwo, retired, on June 3, 2022 between Kanu and the Director General of the DSS and two others, wherein the court dealt substantially with the issue of allowing the IPOB leader access to his personal physician. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, on Tuesday invited the immediate past governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, for questioning over his stewardship of the state. Ortom, who drove into the Makurdi zonal office of the agency in the state capital at 10 a.m., was cited with media aide Teva Akase and Principal Special Assistant on Special Duties, Abraham Kwangu. Ortom handed over a debt profile of 187.7 billion naira to the administration of Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia. Ortom, at a brief ceremony held at the Old Banquet House or Government House in Makurdi, told Alia that the handover notes in 3 volumes were a summary of his 8 years administration of Benue State. Now, civil society groups fighting corruption in Nigeria want President Bola Tinubu to declare National Committee in Tackling the Menace. The group, which is setting the anti-corruption template for the new administration, is advocating for the passage of whistleblower and witness protection bills to support the anti-graft war in the country. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
The civil society organizations say they are worried that the modest gains recorded by the Buhari administration could be eroded due to lack of clear-cut roadmap by the Tinubu government in tackling the monster of corruption.
We cannot afford to even lose the little gains we had over the years on the fight against corruption. And we have seen signs that if we did not sustain and demand accountability and transparent governance, we may lose some of those gains that we have made.
They want the new president to demonstrate clear and unambiguous position in fighting corruption by strengthening and funding anti-graft agencies, in addition to spearheading robust legislations that would aid the crusade.
National Assembly, equally, because it's not just the executive but also the legislature, equally make that pronounced commitment and readiness, genuine readiness to fight corruption. Because if the members of the National Assembly, through their legislative activities, did not also buy in to the fight against corruption, you will see in the legal framework that they are going to be making, you will see corruption coming in.
Nigeria is among countries considered corruption endemic nations. Though institutional frameworks and legislations have been put forward to reverse the trend, not much has been achieved. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Presidential Election Petition Tribunal has given the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and its candidate in the 2023 presidential election, Atiku Abubakar, till Thursday to conclude presentation of its witnesses before the tribunal. The 5-member panel of justices, presided by Justice Haruna Zamani, agreed to extend the time after counsel to the PDP, Chris Uche, SAN, informed the court on the need for the extension. He reminded the court that although their presentation would have ended on Tuesday, June 20th, 2 days were removed, including the June 12th Democracy Day holiday. Lawyers to the Independent National Electoral Commission, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the All Progressive Congress, APC, did not oppose the application to extend the hearing to Thursday. Counsel to INEC, Kemi Pinheiro, SAN, suggested the respondents could open their defense after the Salah holidays. Earlier, Uche attended 14 batches of voters register for the FCT but could not tender the forms EC8As from states of the Federation due to improper scheduling. Uche SAN attributed this to the attitude of INEC to deny the petitioner's documents requested. Uche suggested a legislation that compels INEC to bring all materials used in the conduct of the election to the court 5 days after the election. The justices advised the legal counsel to take the recommendation to the proper forum. Now, the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, on Thursday in Abuja met with select leaders of the party as part of the ongoing efforts to resolve the lingering crisis in the party. The party has been battling with various crises involving groups and individuals, leading to the loss of the presidential election. Acting Chairman Umar Damagun said the meeting is a continuation of series of meetings with stakeholders to address issues affecting members. The National Organizing Secretary of the party, Umar Bature, says the meeting was to douse the pressure and tension within the party after the 2023 elections. Bature says the party has 342 members of state assemblies, 116 members of the House of Representatives, 36 senators, and 13 governors, believing that the outcome of the ongoing tribunal cases in Kaduna, Nasarawa, Ogun, Kaduna, and Sokoto states will be in favor of the party. Critical stakeholders invited for the crucial meeting also decided to stay away. Among them is the presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, former Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, among others. Now, the Sokoto State Governor Ahmed Aliyu, in an unprecedented move, disguised himself to pay an unscheduled visit to the specialist hospital on Monday. The governor, who was taken to the hospital around 12 midnight on a tricycle, made a shocking discovery as the hospital was in total darkness due to power outage. Governor Aliyu found health workers at the medical ward, including medical doctors on duty, using flashlights while attending to patients. There were other health workers and patients and their relatives who were met sleeping outside because they could not bear the heat inside the ward.
I have been receiving so many complaints about the condition of this hospital, that is specialist hospital. That is why I decided to pay unscheduled visit to see things for myself. That is why I'm here. And I went around some of the wards, and honestly, I'm not happy with what I have seen.
The immediate past chief medical director of the hospital, Dr. Hamza Meshanu, who was at the hospital during the visit, attributed the power outage to the failure of the previous administration to pay allocation in the past 9 months. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, we take a look at how Sokoto women are reaping from rice chaff. Details coming up ahead. good to see you. Welcome back and thank you very much for staying with us on the News Hour. In case you just joined us, these are the top stories. Vice President decorates Acting Inspector General of Police as Nigeria. Apologies for that intermission. Here's the recap of our top stories at this hour. Vice President decorates Acting Inspector General of Police as Nigerians hope for a better deal, improved security from new service chiefs. 17-year-old killed in building collapse in Niger State. Now, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, has urged his staff to brace up for the task ahead, as they are key to his success. He made the call at a parley with staff working under his office on Tuesday, and according to a statement by Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Musa Abdullahi Krishi. Speaking earlier, the clerk to the House, Yaya Dang Zaria, urged staff in the Speaker's office to work towards ensuring the success of the number 4 citizen. In her remark, the head of Secretariat in the Speaker's office, Nana Asiang, who is a director at the National Assembly, congratulated the Speaker on his victory and assured that they were ready to work with him to achieve his mandate. The Speaker of the Bauchi State House of Assembly, Abubakar Suleiman, has been re-elected to serve as Speaker of the 10th Assembly. Suleiman was elected following the inauguration at the House on Tuesday. The lawmaker, who represents Ningi Central constituency, was elected for the second term to lead the Assembly, having served in that capacity in the past 4 years. With this development, he is the first person to be re-elected as Speaker of the Bauchi State House of Assembly. However, a new Deputy Speaker, Jamilu Umaru, will assist Suleiman in conducting the affairs of the State Assembly for the next 4 years. Now, maize, which is one of the common cereal grains in northern Nigeria, has become scarce and gradually disappearing in most markets in Katsina State. During a visit to a popular grains market in Katsina metropolis, Abdullahi Amadi reports that only few places had few bags of maize and other grains. His report.
This grains market was a beehive of activities with huge pyramids of bags of maize as a common sight in the past. Merchants and dealers from across Katsina State come to the market with truckloads of maize and other grains. However, at the moment, grains, especially maize, are gradually disappearing from the market in the last few days, a situation that makes it scarce and expensive to the common man who relies on it for his daily survival. Many are now wondering what could be responsible for the scarcity and the disconnect. The commodity is very scarce from the source because of insecurity which affected production of maize over the years. Again, at the moment, companies producing poultry feeds are buying maize in large quantities, and this is also affecting the supply. I blame the scarcity on President Bola Tinubu's pronouncement on fuel scarcity removal. As a result of the pronouncement, the prices of almost everything jumped up since then. Tell them that people are dying as a result of soaring prices.
A da gaskiya buhu ya tsanani 20,000 amma yanzu kaga yana kai 34,500.
A bag of maize which was sold at 23,000 to 25,000 naira last week now goes for 33 to 35,000 naira in Katsina. The scarcity and increase in the price have grossly affected the production of local maize flour, popularly known as garin kilo, in the state. In the past, we produced ready-made maize flour in large quantities, and people relied heavily on us to buy. But today, only few of us are here. Hundreds of people within the value chain have fizzled out with nothing to feed their families.
I came to buy maize. Last week I bought it 850, but today they say it's 900 naira. So it's increasing on daily basis. Even the removal of oil subsidy is the major factor.
Many Katsina residents who depend largely on maize for their foods are calling for an immediate government intervention to rescue Nigerians from imminent famine. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
To Gombe State now, where farmers are set to struggle this farming season as the price of government-subsidized fertilizer hits 19,000 naira per bag. A bag is sold for 26,000 naira in the market. The state governor, Inuwa Yahaya, says the government has procured 160 trucks of fertilizer worth 2.8 billion naira to sell at subsidized rate to farmers in Gombe. Here's Ibrahim Ismail with the rest of the story.
Once it's rainy season, Nigerian farmers struggle to get fertilizer to apply in their farms to achieve a bumper harvest, which is nearly impossible without effective fertilizer application. However, the fertilizers are now expensive. As such, thousands of farmers cannot afford to buy. The government supports, though not many would eventually get it at subsidized rate.
It's coming at a subsidy of about 25%, and that should be enough an encouragement for our farmers, those that don't have the means. Last year we provided 125 trucks, but this year we provided 160 trucks, which is 5,000 trucks, because we want to take care extra with take care of our major farmers, even though they are more commercially based, but at least we need to give them some little support, and we shall extend to them. Equally, Go Cares is going to extend to the socially deprived, those that are really displaced, that need the direct support. That one will go to them free of charge, and we have their numbers.
Some of the affected farmers who reacted to the fertilizer sales flag off by Gombe State government are hopeful that the input will boost their production capacity.
The fertilizer was subsidized to us at 19,000 naira.
instead of the 25,500 naira market price. We have kept our seedlings. We are just waiting for the fertilizer, and now we have gotten it. Considering the current economic realities in this country, if subsidy is removed on fertilizer, poor Nigerians will suffer. We are not supporting this, but if it is removed, we are going to suffer in the agricultural sector. Many farmers in the state said they cannot afford the high cost of fertilizer selling above 26,000 naira in the market. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Now, some women in Arkila Magaji, a rice milling hub in Sokoto State, are earning extra money winnowing rice chaff. Women told our correspondent Abubakar Imam that they fund their education from the business and save for the rainy day. His report.
This is Arkilan Magaji, one of the local rice millers hubs in the Sokoto State. In this community, if you are not a rice farmer, you are certainly a miller or a trader. At the tail end of this rice milling value chain lies these young ladies whose work is to fill sacks with rice chaff for 15 naira each. These ladies feel proud doing this job because, according to them, they have been using the money they are getting in financing their education, supporting their parents, and even save something to buy some of the items needed for their weddings.
I have been in this business for 3 years and I have been benefiting a lot from it. I used to take the money I make every day to my parents. They save some which they are using for buying things for my wedding.
They also speak on the challenges they face.
This place has been experiencing flood disaster every year, and this is affecting our work. We want the government to do something about it or relocate us to a safer place. And we also need financial support because we too want to be rice dealers one day.
Epileptic power supply is also threatening their business. We are not getting light as we're supposed to, and this problem has been lingering since last year. We have been complaining to concerned authority, but nothing has changed. When we get light today, we will not get light again until after 2 days, which is seriously affecting our milling business because sometimes you will buy sacks of paddy rice at a very high price, but before you get it milled, the price has come down due to epileptic power supply. We are calling on the Wamako local government authority and the state government to help us address this problem. It forced us out of the business. Despite all the challenges, these women say they are happy doing this job.
Now to some of the day's other news. The newly promoted Assistant Inspector General of Police for Zone 7, Adebowale Williams, has called for sustained peace among traditional and ethnic nationalities of Oyo State to ensure even development in the state. AIG Williams, who is the outgoing Commissioner of Police for Oyo State, made the call when he paid a scheduled visit to the palace of the Sarkin Sasa and Chief Imam of Ibadan. He maintained that the sustainable development to be achieved, or for sustainable development to be achieved, long-standing peace must be allowed to thrive.
Your duty really surrounds ensuring there is peace. And how do you get this peace? You have to work with the people. When I first came in, I met all the stakeholders, opinion leaders, and because I know I need their cooperation, and I maintain the communication throughout the period. And what did we achieve? We achieved peace. We achieved peace even when it became critical during the election period. It's because we all worked together. We all wanted it and we got it.
To Adamawa State now, where a total of 501 individuals have been arrested by the Adamawa State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. The NDLEA says it has arrested no fewer than 501 drug offenders comprising of 491 men and 10 females between June 2022 and May 2023. The arrest, according to the command, was achieved due to its drive towards ensuring zero tolerance for drug abuse and illicit drug trafficking in the state. Salis Lawan has more.
According to the command, 1,164.700 kg of illicit substances were seized, while 117 drug offenders were sentenced to various terms of imprisonment.
We have also recorded cocaine and psychotropic substances, or what is popularly known as pharmaceutical opiate, consisting of tramadol, capsules and tablets, Exo 5 tablets, Rohypnol tablets, pentazocine injection, which is being injected by our younger generations, cough syrup with codeine, diazepam, or D5 or D5.
Stakeholders have reiterated their readiness to combat the menace of drug abuse and illicit drug trafficking in the state.
Our children must be well observed so that as a mother or a father from the home background, when we notice the symptoms of drug use in our children, there is no need hiding it. We need help. Let's seek for professional help, especially from the NDLEA, because that will not kill our children. It will only make them better. But when we hide such things, then they brew, and become something different for us as parents, for the immediate family, and for the nation at large.
Meanwhile, the Adamawa State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has scheduled a lineup of a week-long activity in commemoration of the 2023 International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking. Silas Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
A related development, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, on Tuesday called on the Lagos State government to provide a befitting space for the rehabilitation of victims of drug abuse. And the NDLEA made the call at the Lagos Police Command headquarters in Ikeja during a walk against drug abuse, cultism and domestic violence organized by the National Association of Online News Publishers. Victoria Tokolo files in this report.
The Lagos State Police Commissioner, Idowu Owowa, and representatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, joined the National Association of Online Security News Publishers to participate in the walk against drug abuse, cultism, and domestic violence in Lagos State. The walk, which took off at the Lagos State Police Command Headquarters, Ikeja, is a sensitization and advocacy program to create awareness on the dangers of abusing drugs, joining courts, and engaging in any form of domestic and sexual violence. Speaking, the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Lagos State, Bassey Ewa, who represented the State Police Commissioner, Idowu Owowa, restated the command's readiness to arrest those involved in drug abuse in order to rid the state of drugs-related crimes.
Tactical teams were pushed out to our area commands where quick response to issues of cultism will be dealt with. And I can tell you that we have an intelligence-driven policing system in Lagos right now. We are going after them in their various homes and crannies and holes that they will not be able to assemble to cause problems for Lagosians.
Further stated that in curbing domestic violence, the command has set up domestic help desks that focus on helping women who get into abusive relationships to be free.
The government has done fantastically well for us. In all our divisions and area commands, we have a domestic violence desk. My CP is currently building a home for women who are suffering from domestic violence, and the partnership with the state governments. So I can assure you that we have officers who have been trained by the Lagos State DSV agency. The partnership is strong, and our focus now is to help women who have issues get out of abusive relationships.
Deputy State Commandant of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Kazim Makinde, called on the state government to assist the agency in getting a befitting rehabilitation center, as the facility at the headquarters at Gbagada is overstressed with limited spaces for victims of drug abuse.
The government of Lagos State to assist us in getting us a befitting rehab center. The facility we are having at Gbagada there, our headquarters, is overstressed. We have limited number of drug users. Get the point now. We have limited space rather. that it could contain. So if you advocate for us, make it big before the ear of the government, maybe they can come to our head by giving us a befitting rehab center. So because so many people are applying to come and to bring their drug users maybe within the family, but we are turning them down because we have limited space to accommodate them. So we are trying our best. Get the point that somebody is into drug, we keep on using the drug, but we keep on going after them.
National Drug Law Enforcement Agency NDLEA noted that rehabilitating victims of drug abuse is a real option for as they are considered to be sick.
That was Noel Samson presenting Victoria Tokolo's story. Now, events for the burial of media mogul and politician High Chief Raymond Dokpesi continued on Tuesday with a requiem mass in his honor at the Church of Assumption, Asokoro in Abuja. Friends and colleagues who were at the mass described the deceased as a pace-setter who defined the media landscape in Nigeria. Dashin Husseina Usman has details.
As the final rites of passage for Chief Raymond Dokpesi continues, his friends and loved ones are finally coming to terms with his demise. Among dignitaries who graced the mass were the newly appointed National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu and Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki. For those who knew him closely, his legacies will live long in their hearts. Among the many things High Chief Dokpesi will be remembered for, his fight for gender inclusivity in politics resonates among some of his friends and well-wishers who say he will be sorely missed.
He supported all the women politicians. He encouraged us. He supported us through his media outfits, every one of us. So for me, I would say that we will miss him more because he believed in gender parity. He believed in ensuring that women are given equal opportunity like men. He believed that women also have should be inculcated, should be part of governance of this country. So that was his belief, and I believe that God will have mercy on him and God will grant him eternal soul.
Well, it's painful, but it is part of life that everyone must pass through that trajectory. So we have missed a gem in Nigeria in areas of broadcasting and philanthropy.
It's a sad day for me. That is why I live in London. I flew down just for this occasion and just to pay my last respects. He will be sorely missed. Dokpesi lived a life where he put every minute of himself into creativity. His body is no longer with us, but his ideas continue to live far many years after he has gone. It's a very big pain, it's a very big loss, but then God knows the best.
When you see people around today, the Traditional Conference Center yesterday was filled up, huge capacity. And as you can see, people from different ethnicity, different background, religious background.
It's still a myth, it's still a dream, it's still, I'm struggling to understand. I'm struggling to know where to place all of this because honestly, my perseverance in politics as a feminist, and I never hid the fact that I was a feminist, and feminism has different understandings and interpretation. He knew that I stood for the inclusion of women, the equal opportunities of women, the respect for women in their own rights and not as appendages. As I think I say goodbye to him. I certainly will be speaking up more, just because his presence will always be there.
Until his death, Raymond Dokpesi was the owner of Dar Communications Limited, a leading private media company that pioneered broadcasting in Nigeria. Darshan Husseina Usman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're still watching the News Hour on Trust TV. We'll be back with more news after the break. Welcome back. President Bola Tinubu has arrived Paris to join world leaders in France to review and sign a new global financial pact that places vulnerable countries on a priority list for support and investment following the devastating impact of climate change, the energy crisis, and the COVID-19 pandemic. In a statement issued on Monday by the Special Advisor to the President on Special Duties, Communication and Strategy, Dele Alake, the President will attend the two-day summit on June 22nd and 23rd, which will explore opportunities to restore fiscal space to countries dealing with difficult short-term financial challenges, specifically the most indebted. It added that President Tinubu and other global leaders, multilateral institutions, financial experts and economists will take a more comprehensive approach to recovery of economies from the COVID-19 pandemic and rising poverty, with the goal of providing access to finance and investment that will leverage inclusive growth. The President will return on Saturday in company of members of the Presidential Policy Advisory Council and other government officials. Now, on the foreign scene, parents of students missing after an attack on a school in western Uganda are flocking to the local police station to submit DNA samples that could help identify their children among the 42 bodies that have been recovered. Regional Police Commander Tai Ramadan says many of the bodies were charred beyond recognition, forcing investigators to use DNA samples from relatives to try to identify them. One of Uganda's biggest massacres in recent decades occurred on Friday night at Lubirira Secondary School after assailants set a dormitory full of boys alight and also attacked a dormitory full of girls, hacking victims to death with machetes and knives. 6 students were also abducted by the attackers, who the authorities say were fighters from the ISIS-linked Allied Democratic Forces group based across the border in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Ex-Rwandan police officer Fulgence Kayashima, accused of participating in the 1994 Uganda genocide, has abandoned his application for bail and applied for asylum in South Africa, prosecuting authorities announced on Tuesday. Kayashima, who has been on the run since 2001, was arrested last month under a false name on a grape farm outside of Cape Town. The International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda had indicted him for genocide for his alleged role in the destruction of the Nyange Catholic Church, one of the bloodiest episodes in the 1994 Rwanda genocide, killing 2,000 people. In a statement, the National Prosecuting Authority announced that Kayashima faces 54 charges in South Africa, including some related to immigration fraud, adding that the 62-year-old accused has abandoned his bail application and will instead launch an asylum application. The statement, however, did not indicate on what grounds Kayashima was applying for asylum. Let's now join Adeni Ajisafe for today's latest in sports.
No fewer than 38 primary schools comprising of 1,017 boys and girls have so far registered for the first Gombe State Athletics Association GAA Primary Schools Championship slated for July 2023. The competition's technical advisor Simon Ayuba said in a statement released on Monday that 1,017 boys and girls have registered and will participate in the grassroots harvest of talent in 11 events, including 100 meters, 200 meters, 60 meters, long jump, relays, and throws, among others. Ayuba said as a talent hunt competition, screening will be conducted before pupils will be allowed to run to ascertain their level of fitness and individual talent for a particular sport. Meanwhile, the GAA has already commenced training for school games masters and additional technical officials for the championship with a view to prepare them to be able to select the right talents during and after the competition. And in football, former General Secretary of Nigerian Football Federation Fani Amu has called for the continuation of the Abridged League version for the next 2 seasons. The 1993 FIFA Under-17 World Cup winning coach said adopting the hybrid league in the next 2 seasons is the best for the Nigerian football. Amu said the hybrid league has not only saved the career of players, but has helped save fund clubs who have spent in the straight league. The coach said the General Assembly of the league should sanction the continuation of a bridge league because it will reduce the risk of poor transport system and that of insecurity. The Nigerian Premier League went through a bridge league in 2023 where Eyimba International emerged champions in the MPFL Super 6 playoffs in Lagos. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And that's our package on the News Hour tonight. You can stay in touch with us by following us across our social media platform and also enjoy our programming on our YouTube live stream. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for your time and company.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.